This is Xiaomi's new 15S Pro. It's got a 6.73-inch Quad HD display, a 6100 mAh silicon carbon battery, and 3 very good cameras to the back. Now, if you feel you're having a bit of deja vu, it is not you, it's Xiaomi, because you've definitely seen all these things before on this phone, the Xiaomi 15 Pro. But the 15S Pro, it offers one major difference. Instead of that Snapdragon 8 Elite, Xiaomi's gone with their own self-developed flagship SoC for the first time in the XRING O1. So how does this fare? Can this XRING O1 compete with the 8 Elite? Let's get this phone unboxed and find out in today's video. If this is your first time here, or in case you just can't remember, my name's Ash, you're watching C4E Tech. Let's get started. This is the box the 15S Pro comes in. It's quite long. Ignoring the obvious, that's what she said, let me get rid of the protective plastic using the pull tab. Now once we open up the box, we've got this black insert with Xiaomi's regular tagline of always believe something wonderful is about to happen. Now this insert, it contains a quick start guide. Now there is also a hard shell case, this little thing, it's been 15 years of Xiaomi. In fact, we also get a cool little boot animation for that. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. There's this red lanyard here they've included. The end part, it goes right into the case. You can stick it. And then if you want to sling the 15S Pro around your shoulder, I guess you can do that. Okay, let's now get to the 15S Pro itself, removing that protective wrap. The back here, Xiaomi calls this dragon scale fiber. We've seen this before on, say, the Mix Fold 4. Here, it has a slight texture to it, but it's still smooth. It doesn't offer extra grip or anything. Now this, the different material being used, it makes the 15S Pro slightly slimmer than the 15 Pro. Though the weight, it kind of falls in between the glass back and liquid metal 15 Pro variants. That said, both phones, when it comes to dimensions, the overall footprint, they're identical. It's still the same 6.73-inch 10 plus 2-bit Quad HD Plus display with 120Hz refresh. So this is an excellent panel. It's bright enough for outdoor use. It curves on all four sides and is covered by second generation Dragon Crystal glass. Now on top of that, Xiaomi is offering an anti-reflective screen protector out of the box, and just like we've seen with the S24, S25 Ultra, this does really cut out reflections. But at the end of the day, as nice as it is a screen protector, meaning when it eventually gets scuffed up, you're gonna have to change it, and you can also pick one up for other phones. Like me personally, I think I got one of these for my Z Flip 6. Now, is it cool that Xiaomi offers it pre-applied out of the box? Definitely. But the sheer amount of rage bait about this on Twitter, it makes me almost embarrassed to bring up the feature. I guess what else can we expect when people are being paid to engagement farm? It's just rage bait this, rage bait that. Twitter or X today is a toxic mess, isn't it? And I say that as a conservative. Anyways, if you like videos like this where I try my best to focus on the product without any exaggerations, drop a like, show your support, get subscribed. It goes a long way in helping out with the algorithm. Now coming back to the box, we have a USB Type-A to Type-C cable. The SIM tool is on the other side of it. I kinda missed it when I was unboxing. Now finally, there is a 90-watt charger. I really like the silver color for the cable and the charger itself. I think it's been almost a year since I saw a non-white charger, so I found this pretty cool. Given this phone still has the same 6100 mAh silicon carbon battery, the charging times haven't really changed. You get to 45% in 20 minutes, a full charge in about 50. There's also wireless charging supported up to 50 watts. Cosmetically, there are a few changes. We have this golden Xiaomi logo here. There's also a golden accent to the power key. The metal frame, it has a matte finish, and the back too, so both are pretty resistant to smudges. And then there's this dual tone LED flash. That's slightly different. It now has that XRING branding to it. And the XRING O1, that's the biggest change here. Honestly, I was a little surprised to see Xiaomi use their self-developed chip on this phone, because usually what makes sense is brands come up with a new chip, their own self-developed chip, they put it into a mid-range phone maybe. And even last time, that was the approach Xiaomi took, because with the Surge S1, another in-house developed chip, that was mid-range and went into the Mi 5C. This was about a decade back. So I was a little surprised that they went straight for the flagship this time. And I was even more surprised that Xiaomi's actually done quite a good job. This is a 10-core SoC, guys. It's got two X925 cores clocked at up to 3.9 GHz each. Then there are four A725 performance cores clocked at up to 3.4 GHz each. There are a couple more A725 cores. These are clocked a little lower. And finally, we've got two A520 cores for efficiency clocked at up to 1.8 GHz. So this CPU, it's been paired with the same Immortalis G925 GPU as on the Dimensity 9400, MediaTek's flagship SoC. But Xiaomi, they've gone for 16 cores instead of 12. That said, the cores themselves, they are clocked lower. Also, some coverage coming out of China seem to indicate that the lack of SLC cache on this, it kind of hurts the GPU efficiency. Honestly, that kind of goes over my head a little bit. So if you are interested in going further down this rabbit hole, here's a card to Geeker1's video. The XRING O1, it also uses a separate modem, the T800 from MediaTek. So that and the decreased GPU efficiency means overall the battery life, it should be slightly lower than what we saw with the 15 Pro. Now this SoC, Xiaomi's paired it with 16 gigs of LPDDR5T RAM and 512 gigs or 1 TB of UFS 4.1 storage. So yeah, the base is 16512 here. Now from a sustained performance perspective, that is if you're going to be gaming for long, the 15S Pro, just like the 15 Pro, didn't do great. It crashed out with this overheating message, I guess since the cooling solution still remains unchanged. And by the time it crashed out, this phone, it was a toasty 49 degrees. That's 2 degrees higher than what the 15 Pro was when it crashed. Now still, there is ample performance on the table to be able to run most games well. But it is worth noting that, at least as of now, Xiaomi isn't offering any frame gen or super resolution options for gaming. Moving on to the cameras, they've not changed since the 15 Pro. It's the same exact triple camera setup, and I'm leaving the specs on screen in case you need a refresher. What has changed here is the ISP, which is again Xiaomi's own. I don't have a 15 Pro on hand, so without seeing the images side by side, it is hard for me to nitpick any minor differences. But overall, the cameras here, they seem to perform similarly. With the primary, there is a whole lot of detail. The dynamic range, it's still excellent. Under low light, highlight control, it's still very good. Images, they were low on noise, high on detail. The ultra-wide and telephoto, they are reasonably color matched to the primary. And the ultra-wide, it still pulls double duty for macros, given there is autofocus. With video, we can shoot up to 8K 24 instead of 8K 30, and it can do 4K 60 HDR via all three sensors. Now 4K 60, that's something I was particularly interested in testing since the 15 Pro, it had a lot of EIS jitter when I tested it. Thankfully this phone, the 15S Pro, it doesn't have the issue. Now I don't know if the 15S Pro is doing better or if this is an issue that Xiaomi's ironed out since the 15 Pro's launch, because that was the last time I used that phone. Either way, it is good for the consumer. The 32 megapixel camera can also shoot 4K 60, and here the EIS jitter is present, but it isn't as bad as it used to be. And the still performance, it's still as good as it was on the 15 Pro. There's really not a lot to talk about here because everything else, the software features, the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner, the IP rating, the IR blaster, the user experience, it's all identical to the 15 Pro. So if you want to know more about all that, here's a card to that video, go ahead, check it out. Now the 15S Pro in China, it starts at 5499 RMB, which is 200 RMB higher than what the 15 Pro launched at. But keep in mind, the base was 256 GB on it, and it's 512 here. But anyways, here's my take. The 15S Pro, it seems to be an excellent phone. It's so damn cool to see Xiaomi do so well with their first flagship SoC. Because think about it for a minute. When it comes to Android SoCs, what do we have? Qualcomm Snapdragon, Samsung Exynos, MediaTek Dimensity, Unisoc T-Series, HiSilicon Kirin, Google's Tensor. Unisoc doesn't compete in the high end. Google's been a couple of generations behind Qualcomm, like forever. It's the same with Huawei's HiSilicon Kirin as well. And Samsung's struggle with flagship SoCs, that's been well documented for over a decade now. The only manufacturer who's gotten close to Qualcomm's performance so far, in the flagship end of things, has been MediaTek. And even that's after many years of trying. And for Xiaomi to have gotten this close with their first attempt, that's great, especially for the end consumer. Because more the competition, the better it is for us. Because look at the 8 Elite. Qualcomm kinda upped their prices on it a fair bit, right? That's because they have an almost monopoly. So I really like the fact that there is a new player in town and they've had good success right on their first attempt. But it is still a first-gen product, and like with most first-gen products, there are some things that need to be ironed out. like the GPU performance and potentially the efficiency issues. Now, what I'm trying to say is, I really like this phone. I like where Xiaomi is going with the XRING O1. That said, if this one doesn't go global, I'm not going to lose any sleep about it, and I don't think you should either. And that's just my take on the Xiaomi's 15S Pro and the XRING O1. Now it's your turn to tell me what you think. Leave a comment right below that like button. And I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. Ash out.